Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight to share with you, to come together to learn and grow. I believe we're all seeking to have fulfilling, meaningful lives of passion and joy. And part of what makes that possible is as we come together and learn together and grow together. Tonight, I'm going to share with you 5 rules of success for life. So if any of you heard about this new fad of the extreme obstacle races, maybe you've seen them on TV reality shows. A couple of them, the Spartan and the Tough Mudder, are ones that anyone can register for and participate in. I mean, these are not your mother's obstacle race. I mean, some of the obstacles, swimming through icy pools, crawling on your belly in mud under barbed wire, wires hanging down with electric shocks on them, and as you run through and they hit you, they shock you hard. Climbing over slippery walls, crawling through tunnels, narrow tunnels underground where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel when you start. I think the creators of these just delight in coming up with more and more horrible things. And you don't even know until you get there, like what they're going to be. So, wimp that I am, I thought, why would somebody choose to do that? Like to be frozen and shocked, muddy, sweaty, bruised. So I thought about that. I mean, people pay money, like to go do that. And I thought, like if this was a punishment, like if somebody committed a crime and we made them go through there, like it'd be declared unconstitutional. Like that's cruel and unusual punishment, but people choose to do it. So I thought about that. Why do people want to do that? And I realized, like we love to test ourselves. We love to prove ourselves. We think it's fun. So my son trained and participated in one of these. And he gave me this picture for Christmas of him, like muddy and teeth clenched and, just giving it his all. And I put it up on my office wall to kind of remind me, like, don't give up, right? So I contacted him when I decided I sort of wanted to talk about this. And I said, what did you learn from participating in that race, that competition? And he said, I learned that I can do anything I want and can accomplish anything I choose, provided I do the work. I raised that boy. Oh, makes a mama's heart proud. So then I started thinking about life. Everything that we see outside of us is a metaphor for our own lives. And I thought, what if, we start with the assumption that we chose everything in our life? Now, I don't know if we did or not. I love the mystery, and it doesn't matter. But what if we think of it as a starting place and see what it makes available as a way to look at things? What if, just as we seek to raise our consciousness, we think, I'm like the Tough Mudder in the Tough Mudder race. I chose this. I wanted to take on these challenges. I even thought, like Jesus, like maybe his life was kind of like his ultimate Tough Mudder challenge. Crown of thorns, beaten, like he wanted to take it on, like live full out. You see, this is a wonderful example of how our beliefs and our thoughts create our reality. As I said, if you chose this, it's fun and you can't wait to get out there. If it's imposed on you by someone else and you feel like, I have to do this, then it's torture. I mean, that's what Ernest Holmes has told us, right? The mental equivalent. The mind is the fashioning factor. And according to its range, vision, and positiveness will be the circumstances of the experience. A wonderful fun, a challenge for me, or torture. What we think, what we choose. So, I promised you 5 rules for a meaningful, fulfilling life. Well, guess where I found these rules? These are the rules that you have to agree to and pledge to participate in the Tough Mudder race. All right, here they are. 1, I understand that Tough Mudder is not a race, but a challenge. I'm going to tell you all 5 of them, then I'm going to go back and we're going to look at them and how they apply to our life. So the first one, I understand that Tough Mudder is not a race, but a challenge. 2, I put teamwork and camaraderie above my own personal time. 3, I do not whine, kids whine. Number 4, I help my fellow mudders complete the course. So everybody in it, we're all mudders. I like that because, you know, Genesis says we were made of the dirt. Then God breathed the breath of life into us. So we're all mudders. Like we're all in this together, right? And the last rule is I overcome all fears. Okay, so those are our rules. All right, the first one, I understand that Tough Mudder is not a race, but a challenge. So like how many of us are living our lives like it's a race? Like we got to get somewhere, and we got to get there before other people, and we got to be the best. And we're living our whole life like looking over our shoulder to see who's catching up with us. We got to get the degree first. We got to get the house first. We're measured by our possessions. What if we could see all these things that happen to us in life as a challenge? It's just like, oh my gosh, here's the wall now. Oh, that's going to be fun to try to get over that. Get under the barbed wire. So what if we took on rule number 1? Let life challenge us. Take it on, rather than seeing it as a race. Trying to get there first. Rule 2, I put teamwork and camaraderie before my course time. Isn't it interesting that our most fulfilling and meaningful experiences in life so often have to do with our relationships? And they're also where we're often hurt the most. What if teamwork and camaraderie are what matter, and we put that before what we accomplish? A friend of mine is estranged from her daughter, who just had a new baby. And this is my friend's first grandchild. And she's very upset about that. And I've urged her, continue to reach out to your daughter. Call her. Leave a message. Even if she doesn't pick up when she sees it's you, keep calling. Send her an email. Don't ask for explanations or blame. Just say, I wonder how the baby's doing. Do you need anything for the baby? I've been thinking about you. And just keep doing that. And her response was, as many of us respond, I don't know if I can handle the pain of the rejection anymore. Well, if teamwork and camaraderie, if I put that above my course time, what my feelings, I keep reaching out to relationships. I don't say I can't handle the pain of that. The point of this rule, of course, is that we're all in this together. So let's think about that. Rule number 2, I put teamwork and camaraderie above my own personal time. Now, the third rule, I do not whine. Kids whine. This rule is about being an adult. You know, how many of us are still thinking somebody else should be taking care of us, protecting us, making our decisions for us, and grumbling and whining and complaining when it doesn't go that way? We remember what Paul said in one of his letters to the new members of the Jesus movement in Corinth. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. Who was he telling those people back in that time? He was telling them, in the new way of thinking about life, you're grown up now. You know, the Jews had lived this life. They wanted somebody to lead them through the desert, spread out the manna, vanquish their enemies. In the new way of looking at life, hey, it's up to you now. You're adults, you're grown up. Now, as adults, whining means that we think life should be different than it is. The pool shouldn't be so icy. The barbed wire shouldn't be so sharp. The wall shouldn't be so high. I mean, that's what we'd say in the context of the challenge. What do we say instead? My mother shouldn't be the way my mother is. Why isn't my daughter different? And of course, most likely, my husband certainly shouldn't be the way he is. No, when we take on this rule for living, no whining. We take it on. We don't think things should be different than they are. All right, so the first three rules: life's a challenge, not a race. Teamwork and camaraderie are more important than my personal time. I don't whine. Kids whine. The fourth rule: I help my fellow mudders complete the course. I love this one. None of us can complete the course unless we help each other. I help you over the wall, and then when you're up there, you reach down and grab me and help me get over. I mean, life can be dirty and challenging, and sometimes we feel like we're like down in the mud. We help our fellow mudders complete the course. Now, our fellow mudders may be an infant, a depressed spouse, particularly annoying coworker, an aging parent, somebody on the board. But we help our fellow mudders complete the course. All right. A challenge, not a race. Teamwork and camaraderie. I do not whine. Kids whine. And I help my fellow mudders complete the course. The last rule: I overcome all my fears. Oh, how many of us are living our lives in fear, afraid to take on something new, afraid to risk. Our hearts have been broken. We're not going to love again. We let fear rob us of the fullness of life. So the last rule is, I overcome my fears. Now, this doesn't say that I don't have any fears. Fear can be useful sometimes, and we all have fears. It says I overcome my fears. I don't let them stop me. As I'm coming off the diving board there. Not yet. Sorry. Not yet. Sorry. All right. As a Tough Mudder, I look my fear straight in the face and I move forward anyway. Imagine yourself as a Tough Mudder saying, oh, I can't do that. No, you move forward anyway. And in life, whatever comes along, you go ahead. So we're all mudders. What if we could take life on this way? Life is a challenge, not a race. Life where teamwork and camaraderie mattered more than my feelings, my results. What if we gave up whining? And what if we agreed to help our fellow mudders finish the course and we overcame our fears? So these are the Tough Mudder rules for life. And now, if you're ready, willing, and able, I want you all to stand up and raise your hand. And we're going to repeat with some contestants the Tough Mudder Pledge.
I pledge that. As a Tough Mudder, I pledge that. Understand the Tough Mudder is not a race, but a challenge. I understand the Tough Mudder is not a race.
Not a race, but a challenge.
I put teamwork and camaraderie before my course time. I put teamwork and camaraderie
Before my course time.
I do not lie. I do not lie. Kids, why?
Kids,
I
why?
help my fellow mudders complete the course. And I overcome all my fear.
I overcome all my fear.
I overcome all my fear. Mudders, are you ready for this?
And so it is, and so I let it be.